Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel, Gemini. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your February 2021 soul story. So if you have a Gemini sun, rising or moon, then my general reading might resonate. The messages and insight will hopefully continue to give you information and support as you navigate your way through the month ahead. So we're moving into Aquarius season, a fellow air sign. And, you know, this is an energy that is a language you really understand. And I think you're going to feel that sense of a lift through the month of February as the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Saturn and Jupiter all light up the sky in Aquarian energy. And we open up your reading with the card of the World. And so there is something really poignant about the work that you are wrapping up as you get to this month. You know, you've been on a really deep soul-searching mission. And I think what's transpired as a result of that for you is a recognition that it's not just about wanting to invite change into your world, it's about understanding what it is that you need to change within yourself to kind of complete that loop. And so, you know, we have the positivity of this cycle coming to an end and feeling a sense of relief, of elation, but perhaps for some of you a little bit of trepidation as well in terms of what comes next from this point forth. And Aquarian energy lighting up that ninth house is very much about the big picture for you, you know. And what we're finding is that the questions of February for Gemini are going to be, what is it that sustains you? What nourishes you? Why do you want what you want? Why do you do what you do? And I think it is going to be quite a reflective time. You know, we have your natural ruler, Mercury, in retrograde right through to the 20th of the month. And in that time, you know, it's a much lighter transit than having retrograde through the water energies, which can be a little bit tougher for you, Gemini. But in this air energy, there's news, there's information, there is communication that's coming back into your awareness to help you complete something. And it's perhaps just a returning quality to that journey that's going to allow the final missing piece of the jigsaw or some element of transition that's going to allow for this transformation process to take place for you. You may well find yourselves at a bit of a crossroads where, you know, some of the things that are coming back around for you, maybe you'd made peace with the fact that, you know, they weren't going to show up or they weren't going to work out. And all of a sudden that retrograde is kind of throwing them back into the mix and back into the equation again. And of course, you know, we always tend to overthink when we've got that planet back spinning. And, you know, it is about the self-reflection that, you know, comes with that. But sometimes it can kind of make things a little bit unclear and confusing for us. And so there is this aspect of perhaps doubting yourself, not quite trusting some of the choices and decisions that you've made, and maybe even doubting that actually, you know, you have cleared out or finished this particular cycle. It's just like almost that energy of waiting for the next thing that might, you know, block or challenge or cause you to kind of have to repeat a pattern or something over again. But there is this element, and it's really important for you to pay attention to this. It came up a little bit in the Taurus energy as well, but of course that's relevant for you as you know, deal with that 12th house aspect of Taurus. And that's about releasing the guilt and giving yourself permission to, you know, to actually choose yourself. And perhaps that's the lesson really powerfully for you through February, Gemini. It's like you need to choose yourself in this exact moment. And, you know, of course that might have an impact and a ripple effect to the people and the situations that surround you. But in order to be able to complete that cycle and to really integrate the understanding and the growth that's taken place, you are going to have to trust yourself and not move into a sabotage-based energy because you feel like it's going to have, you know, perhaps a negative or an upheaval impact on other people, you know, kind of talking yourself out, saying, oh, maybe it isn't the right time. You know, maybe that's not quite what my intuition was telling me. It's going to be really important that you trust yourself this month. Now, it's an information-rich month, you know, and what that means is that there is going to be, at times, almost like an overload on our system. And again, Five of Wands just demonstrates that you might have a little bit of conflict that's going to play out both internally, but also just as you're trying to deal with a lot of the contrast and the change of moving from one cycle, moving from even earth energy into air energy, even though that air energy is much more conducive for you, it's a tough moment to kind of recalibrate yourself. We also have a very powerful Saturn square Uranus aspect happening on the 17th of the month, which has this extraordinarily dynamic tension that it's playing out as we try to personally interpret, the difference between what feels like control and what feels like freedom for us, and so there might be aspects of your life that are going really under the microscope, and you're getting called into question themes of trust, themes of where you feel secure or where you're trying to shake something off, liberate yourself from something, okay? But overall, the theme that's playing out in February with all of the stellium and Aquarius energy is one of advanced higher learning, moving yourself forward and actually starting to feel more of a lightness coming in. And here's the thing, you don't need to be in a position where everybody understands you and, the decisions and choices that you're making right now. The Magician is calling you forth to tap into your own creative vision at the moment. It wants you to start sharing a lot of the rich information that you have accumulated and been working on as you did a lot of that deep 8th house Capricorn energy through the last year, 18 months. And so you're preparing, think about February as very much a sort of preparatory season to kind of allow this transition to take place and the completion and the sort of loose ends, I think. That Seven of Swords feels a little bit to me like some loose ends that we have to deal with, and retrograde energy is going to be perfect for that. But when we hit that new moon in Aquarius on the 11th, there's a beautiful Venus-Jupiter conjunction that's going to work really favorably for you, and you might have a blessing that comes in that's quite surprising in nature, that either comes in on a romantic level or a financial level, just something that's going to give a nice boost. And just ahead, we then have the lunar Chinese New Year coming in, the year of the ox, bringing in that sense of loyalty, honesty, integrity, and determination. And so it almost like grounds it in, and we talked about that last month, how you're grounding things into reality. So the Magician is like really keen for you to keep making the adjustments and using what you have to create something new for yourself. Now, often when we're in that retrograde energy, we need to look at some short-term things. And, and short-term fixes are not always ideal, but they can be helpful if we have a bigger plan in the backdrop. So, for example, if you're looking for new work and you can't quite secure the job that's absolutely right for you, but something comes up temporary, then this is a great month to say, yeah, I'm going to take it, because it's a filler, but it's going to give you something valuable. And the same can be said for other aspects of your life. So don't be afraid to look at things that are short-term, even by way of ideas and inspirations. It's really conducive to just getting like a quick hit in some area of your life that's going to allow for progress, because one of the things that's going to be really important for you, Gemini, is that you keep moving forward. Even though retrograde can slow things down, it's not going to stop you. There's too much forward motion now. Now here we've got the Two of Cups, so maybe there's some trust issues in relation to a specific relationship that you have here. But what I'm picking up that's really sweet with this is that you are coming into this sense of union and harmony with something in your life. This new chapter and this new beginning, that's following that completion of the world energy, is affording you the opportunity to find something that feels right for you. It feels right for you. That's what your alchemy has created. And that's been done by you because of the work that you've invested in yourself. And this is what I'm saying about the need to recognize, if we want all this change to come into our life in whatever area we're focused upon or setting our intentions or trying to manifest, and we don't allow ourselves to change as part of that, we will be the one thing standing in our own way. We will be the one thing that starts to sabotage. So don't let that happen. This is about creation and connection, okay? Creation and connection. That is the themes that are going to be showing up really strongly for you this month. And from that, what you can see is something coming together. And again, this new life cycle beginning. Now, the process of transformation and death can be an uncomfortable one, but it can also be incredibly cathartic. Death ruled by Scorpio, working with that Plutonian energy. and you've been very acquainted with doing a lot of that shadow work of late. So allowing the process of change to happen can actually deliver such a beautiful gift. And here we've got the phoenix rising out the ashes. So there's some aspect of your life right now, Gemini, that's going through in this exact moment a powerful metamorphosis. You've got all your butterflies here in the world card, and you are about to start to see the seeds of that come to life, you know, and it might not all happen in February. You have to have an element of patience around this, because when we are making such significant life changes, you know, the world is ruled by Saturn, so the work that you did with Saturn in Capricorn, you know, was important, and we're not seeing the full entire kind of story that is coming to a point of completion, you know, straight away. It's still going to be rolling out over the coming days, weeks and months. So allow this process to come through and elevate you to what the next level is going to be and what it feels like. Now, in relation perhaps for some of you to specific partnerships, to specific relationships, there is definitely an element of change and transformation. The butterfly always reminds me of your sign, and so it's coming in with a very positive energy with the world. So even if the process feels extraordinarily uncomfortable, or there's something that requires an ending or a moment of closure, we still have something really beautiful being birthed from that. The rebirth is going to lift you and give you an opportunity to integrate that change that we know you've allowed yourself to embrace. So the Prince of Swords coming through, love this energy for you. Of course, it's more air to work with, and you know, defiant, I think, really defiant in your intention to move forward at this point, you know, to just say nothing is going to hold me back now. It has to be now. And even though I might not have all of the answers, and I might still be moving a little bit blindly in some aspects, you are prepared, you are open, you are curious, and you are just meeting everything in the moment, you know. I love the Prince of Swords for just being able to receive the information as it arrives, as it comes, and not have that preconceived idea or that kind of judgment that, you know, sometimes we can bring too much, you know, of our negative life experiences into a particular situation, and it can get tarnished. And so again, that's where we need to be aware, where that Seven of Swords just is giving you that cautionary flag. But I think there's something really exciting and fresh and new that's being inspired and delivered and communicated to you and through you, that's going to help the advancement of what comes next in this new life cycle. So as long as you are meeting that information in the moment without any preconceived ideas, the creation and the connection is going to be something that I think is really exciting for you, okay? So we have Mercury moving direct on the 20th, and then we move into Venus entering Pisces on the 25th. And again, you know, that heart energy really illuminates your 10th house of career and vocation. And so there's something that's being highlighted, particularly in the build up to the full moon in Virgo at the end of the month, where you've invested your heart energy, where you've invested yourself into something that you know is going to be right for you. And again, you might be feeling some sense of restriction or limitation around kind of really the advancement or the launch or the initiation of something. But I do think that there's messages and news that's making its way towards you that should give you some sense of validation or insight or clarity where you need it, okay? The Nine of Cups is about that way in which we give ourselves permission to feel the desire, to feel the pleasure of things as they are unfolding, okay? And so if it is relationship, if it is coming into union or harmony with something that you love, you know, something that really lights you up, this is where we need to make sure that we're not holding ourselves back or being the one thing that's getting in our own way, okay? This is the opportunity to demonstrate to yourself and others, not that you need the validation of it, but really just to create and sort of strengthen the boundary that you are changing. And if you are changing, then, you know, everything that you have been through has been meaningful. Because if you have gone through all of this and you don't change, what does that say about all of the experiences that you've endured, you know? You have to complete the race. You have to go that last mile. You have to put the final missing piece in the jigsaw. Don't let yourself fall short at that 11th hour, okay? But the Nine of Cups is bringing in something that feels really heartfelt and really meaningful, and perhaps even receiving that by way of communication, okay? So remember I talked about that Venus-Jupiter conjunction, just delivering something that should give a boost for some of you, you know, that actually feels maybe a little bit surprising, but at the same time something that in some form or another you have wanted or asked for or hoped for, okay? That's what we feel is coming through. Now, we've got this very strong element of like peacefulness that wants to come through, okay? But I'm also feeling like a harsh edge around it. So what we want to say by that is that make sure you are creating space or finding environments with which you can surround yourself in that peace. Because if we are constantly dealing with harsher aspects of what's happening in and around our life, or you know, within particular connections or conflict within ourselves, and we have no place of respite or solace, no way to be able to access that level of peace, you're going to feel like a fish out of water, you know. So there's something about making sure through the month of February that you are prioritizing a place of peace, wherever that may be, you know. And even if it's just creating that small you know, moment of time through the day where you just get to kind of reconnect to your energy, I think it's going to be exceptionally important, by way of also coming to conclusions about certain things, because I have a sense that part of this kind of rising phoenix energy for you is also delivering a bit of a crossroads moment by way of a it's not necessarily a decision, but it's almost like a new plan that's being presented, or a new offer that's being discussed. Like something of this nature is coming through for me, okay? I do feel that you're on the same level, so there is an understanding that's coming through here. Now you've got your King of Pentacles showing up, so this may be Virgo, Taurus or Capricorn, or just somebody that's representing the energy of wanting to help you or be more supportive or deliver that sense of security through to you. Now, because we've got the cups coming in, I'm wanting to say this feels on an emotional level, but there's also a change that has to happen. So remember, the change needs to take place within you first before you can almost allow the wider physical changes that you're manifesting in your external reality to actually land and to integrate. Otherwise, they'll just feel like they are passing ships, you know, and like that kind of transient, fleeting moment of happiness that you can't hold on to. So big question that you need to ask yourself is, you know, what is it that sustains and nourishes me? What is it going to take for me to change and to find out what this next level is about for me? It's going to be really, really important, I think. Now, that full moon in Virgo coming in on the 27th of the month wants to deliver something tangible, has a firm focus in and around your health, your well-being and vitality. So pay close attention to what your energy levels are telling you emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, because there's some details that we need to pay attention to, because they're going to be very relevant to why you make a certain choice, or how you invest in something, or how you plan something, okay? So something around the illumination of that full moon that I want you to pay really close attention to. Now, that Saturn squaring Uranus is going to be affecting all of us in the collective. It's a big, powerful aspect. There's 3 happening this year. The 17th of February, then again June 14th, December 24th. We had a little bit of it last year. It's also going to show up again in 2022. So it is bringing raucous change, you know, getting that balance between control and freedom. You know, Uranus, that planet of rebellious, surprising, spontaneous, urgent need for revolution, you know, and Saturn kind of wanting to make sure that we form that structured, ordered deliverance of it in a timely way. So there's just, you know, there's that kind of contrast might feel quite pressured, but the Aquarius air energy is honestly going to feel so much lighter for you than you have experienced for quite some time. So we're just going to go ahead and pull a oracle card from the Sacred Animal deck and see what comes through for you. Okay, change, chameleon. I mean, you have this beautiful mutable energy, Gemini, and you know we're working through this fast-paced Aquarian air energy now. You will adapt. You know, you are going to adapt. You will continue to do so through these changing circumstances that you find yourself in, and as you go through this process of metamorphosis and rebirth, you look focused, you look empowered, and you're kind of coming across as just like, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm really ready for this. You know, you've also got your 33 coming through. Pay attention to 333 through this month. I think it's going to be a really powerful validation for you when you see that recurring number theme come up, okay? But also recognize, again, like we said, where do you need to change? And, you know, you really, really don't need to feel that you have to be understood by everybody. This isn't about justifying. It isn't even about communicating. Here's what I'm changing and here's why I'm doing it. No need for that. As long as you're good with it and it sits well with you, then just go right ahead and keep moving forward on that basis, okay? That world is bringing in some positive changes and shifts for you, so let it happen. So these are inspiration cards from Autumn Skye, and they have beautiful affirmations on the back of them. So contemplation, practice mindfulness, don't jump to conclusions, remember your spirit's mission, allow things to shift naturally, be patient. Beautiful. I think this aspect of contemplation is going to be powerful as we are in that retrograde energy for you. And like we said, finding that quiet space is going to allow for you to draw back in any scattered energy. Not jumping to conclusions is going to be really important when we've got, you know, the 7 and the 5 of Wands energy just coming in as a little bit of a trigger for you that could create some tension, some conflict and disagreement to a certain extent. But, you know, everything is moving. You know, that death energy, the world energy, it's like this beautiful cycle that's coming to a really important moment in your soul journey right now, and just let it happen. There's no need to force anything, okay? You're working with the alchemist, but again, that Page of Swords wants you to just be open and meet everything in the moment, you know? Try not to bring too much baggage into any situation, and just take people at their merit, you know, with what they say. If it feels good to you, then allow new trust to be built and reformed. I think that's going to be important. So Gemini, this is a general reading for February. If you'd like to join me for the extended, what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull a couple of cards around a question that you have that might not have been answered in the general spread, and we'll cover that off in the extended. So just go ahead and ask that question now for me. Okay. You can find the link for the extended readings in the description box underneath. And thank you if you do support the channel. It's much, much appreciated. So we begin with the energy of the world and bringing through the 10 of Wands. Again, that numerology moment of completion. 7 of Swords coming through again. Knight of Swords. You are like on the precipice of a really important breakthrough. So even though there may be aspects of kind of real stress and anxiety that are coming through, you see the way the 8's just really focusing your energy and attention here. I really like the 3 of Pentacles coming over that 5 of Wands, because it's just constructive, you know? It's like constructive energy that's going to allow you to deal with any of the stress that's coming through. We've got a second Magician showing up for you this month. Always love that card for you. Ace of Swords, clarity, freshness, honesty, directness coming. Beautiful. Another Page of Swords energy. Nice to see these ace energies coming in for you. New beginnings following this completion of the world showing up again for you. Oh, nice. Okay. Gemini, I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to join me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this and bringing out some more messages and insights for you. Otherwise, going to wish you beautiful blessings for this month ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.